This morning, we had a real bank merger. One of my favorites, Huntington Bancshares, the Ohio-based regional bank, announced it's buying the Texas-based regional bank Veritex in an all-stock deal that values the target at just under $2 billion. Now, the grand scheme of things, this is a small transaction. I didn't even know Veritex, but it helps Huntington grow in Texas, a market where it was already expanding aggressively. Plus, the company also pre-announced most of the key lines of its second quarter earnings report due Friday. Numbers look pretty darn good. When you back out some one-time items, Huntington posted solid earnings with better-than-expected net interest income and fine-looking credit quality metrics. So let's dig deeper with Steve Steinour. He's the chairman, president, and CEO of Huntington Bancshares. Get a better read of the situation. Mr. Steinour, welcome back to Mad Money.
Jim, great to be with you again. Thank you.
Okay, so Steve, let's talk about why you want to expand in Texas, how good that market is, and why Veritex is the right partner.
Well, Jim, as you know, we're very large in the Midwest, and as we look to diversify our earnings and revenue capabilities throughout high-growth areas, Texas is a logical next expansion for us. We've been there since 2009. We've had great growth and success, and we've got $5.6 billion in loans outstanding. We'll cross $6 billion this year anyway. We've got a couple hundred employees in Texas. We call them colleagues. And so we're familiar with it. Texas itself is an economic powerhouse, and we're very excited to be going there with Veritex, a great organization.
You know, it's interesting. In the conference call, Steve, I thought it was very poignant when you said, look, they have an incredible story. It's a very different story from most of the banks you deal with. And they even had this fellow, Malcolm Holland, who I imagine must be some incredible entrepreneur that a lot of people want to do business with, and he's staying on.
He is. And think about this. He started the bank in 2010. Remember how tough it was then. And they have just been on a roll since. Malcolm is an important leader for us going forward. We partner well with banks like we did with TCF 4 years ago. And that has proven to be a home run opportunity, a combination that has delivered fantastic results. We're very optimistic about doing the same with Malcolm and his team at Veritex.
Now, it looked like under the Biden administration, unless a bank was failing, you really couldn't get in doing anything. This seems like a fresh new page here. You got a very profitable bank in Veritex, profitable bank in Huntington Bancshares. The regulators don't seem to mind that at all, do they?
Well, you know, there's a more constructive overall business tone, not just in banking, and we are clearly benefiting from the constructive tone in our sector, and it's reflected in the approach this still came together in 4 weeks, Jim.
Jeez.
It's a record for us, and we have done an exhaustive due diligence. We're very confident in our outcome, and we've had huge success in integrating in the past.
Well, when I look at your expansion plans, it seems like that you've really, I mean, you could say, well, hold it, did they skip over places? I would say, no, you're in all the places that seem to be pro-business.
Yes. On purpose. And Texas is one of those that's best in the world in terms of pro-business. We love what we're doing in North and South Carolina as well. So we're in 3 of the fastest growing 5 states in the U.S. now in a major way.
So tell me about when you looked at the quarter, you felt like you could pre-announce it. To me, it looked very solid, which leads me to believe that all the worries that we might have had about a slowdown in the regions that you're in just didn't happen. I mean, business is strong in the country.
It's a great quarter for us. We were having such a good quarter. We took about a 4-cent one time just to move some securities off the balance sheet, and we still met consensus. So we had if you do an add back, we had a 16% beat. It was a sensational quarter. Credit was outstanding, 20 basis points of charge-offs. Revenue expanded, NIM, net interest income by 3%. NIM expanded, capital grew. It literally hit on all cylinders for us.
Do you think we're done with that securities repositioning? I saw that and I said, oh boy, I don't know. I don't want to see that to be the start of something like that.
Well, we've only done one in the since interest rates started moving up 4 years ago. It happened to be this quarter. And in part, it was a reflection of just some level of uncertainty about where longer rates are going to go with the discussions around tariffs. So we thought it was a good de-risking move at the right time, and we had plenty of capacity to do it.
No,
we don't anticipate another.
Okay, when I read through your financials, I said to myself, I would not necessarily call the Fed chief too late pal. I mean, to me, he's looking at some parts of the economy that are very, very strong. Doesn't want to make the wrong move. I know that in a less political time, I think people would just say he's being prudent.
Well, we saw this in the early 1980s when there was a double dip. The Fed increased rates significantly, but they provided relief too quickly. Inflation returned, and then rates really shot up to the roof. That was when prime was 21%. So I think there's a prudence in this action, but we now have the big beautiful bill passed, so we know what taxes are. When we get through the tariff uncertainties, which looks like it's going to be another month or two, I think the underlying economy is in good shape.
Oh.
And we're seeing that in the credit quality. And I think the industry will have good credit quality this quarter.
Well, you mentioned the big, beautiful bill. I'm going to ask you, you're a banker and you're really smart about these things. I deal with a lot of people who are not who are rich, but are not all that sophisticated about the different changes that were made in the big, beautiful bill. There are elements of depreciation and elements of R&D credits that could unleash trillions of dollars in spending, and no one believes me.
Oh, I'm on your page. I think the accelerated depreciation will be a huge boost to the onshore manufacturing and other expansions that companies are looking to do in the U.S. And so we're the fourth or fifth largest equipment financer in the country. We love this provision. We think it's going to be very significant to economic activity in 26 and beyond.
Now, are your bankers making that call? Are you telling people, look, this could be a great opportunity to expand?
We are. That's reflected in the investment with Veritex. We grew loans 8% on average over this past year. So as we said last August on the show with you, we think we can be part of the economic equation, part of the solution set to grow the economy. And we're certainly doing more than our part. We're peer leading.
Now, do you want to be in all states, or do you just want to be in the states that are very that like to grow and don't like to punish business?
We're targeting higher growth, pro-business states. And that's why the entry into North and South Carolina several years ago, it's gone hugely successful. And the growth we have in Texas that we've built over time, really like and understand that market. And we are thrilled to have Malcolm and team join us from Veritex. Texans like to do business with Texans. And we have one of the great businessmen in Texas joining us.
What I'm not hearing from you is that, look, I'm really concerned about the tariffs. The tariffs are putting a lot of people on hold. It could really cause a lot of inflation. This is a frightening time. I'm not hearing any of that stuff from you.
Well, I believe there is an impact with the uncertainties of tariffs. Having said that, the core economy is really performing well. And it's showing up in terms of credit quality. It's showing up in terms of, for us, loan growth. And so we're optimistic about it. You still have very low unemployment levels by historic standards. So this feels like once we get a few of the issues settled, and they're getting resolved, the last one, big one, I think, is tariffs. The economy is going to rebound a bit, and we're going to see economic growth at important levels.
I totally share that view. I just really think that people have to recognize, as long as there's unemployment that is low, that's the secret of our great country. And you got it dead right. I think your plans are terrific. Steve Steinour, he's the president and CEO, chairman of Huntington Bankers. We've championed this thing right through the 23 crisis, the whole thing. It's just been a great stock to be in. Mad Money's back at those right.
Don't miss a second of Mad Money. Follow @Jim Cramer on X. Have a question? Tweet Cramer. #MadMentions. Send Jim an email to madmoney@cnbc.com or give us a call at 1-800-743-CNBC. Miss something? Head to madmoney.cnbc.com.